Hello and welcome to our critical evaluation video. We are in group 5 and the product we chose is Allmax Nutrition's creatine.
Right, in terms of claims, Allmax has many claims benefits listed on their website, but we chose to focus on the critical evaluation of just one. Allmax Nutrition claims that creatine supplementation will lead to the increase of muscle strength. They explain that these results are due to the creatine binding to the phosphate molecule. The phosphocreatine helps improve the recycling of ATP, which allows the muscles to have more strength and contraction and increase in muscle strength.
We found 4 different research articles that focused on creatine and its effects on muscle strength. 3 of these studies were done on males, 2 of which looked at young males aged 20 to 24, where the other looked at older males aged 59 to 72. All 3 of these studies supported Allmax's claim of creatine supplementation improving muscle strength. The last study in our research focused on young females that had previous resistance training. This study concluded that creatine had no effect on the subject's muscle strength.
The study was designed to study the effects of training and creatine supplements on muscle strength and body mass. The study focused on males from 20 to 24 years of age. 7 of the individuals were noted to be the control group. On the other hand, the creatine group consisted of 10 participants and the placebo consisted of 8. The following participants were all assigned the same control training regimen, which lasted for 42 days. The creatine and placebo were administered over a 9-week period. In terms of the strength training regimen, it was the same for all the participants. At the end of the training program, the body water content and the isokinetic force was measured. The participants were instructed to stop the training and continue taking the supplements for 42 days. For the strengths, the duration of the study allowed for the researcher to observe the participants' results more closely in terms of training regimen and administration of supplements over time. No former experience was also required for the participants. For the weaknesses, further research would be needed to understand the impact of creatine alongside a larger sample size.
This study tested the effects of an oral creatine supplement on muscle strength and body composition. The study was comprised of 23 male volunteers with a mean age of 21.5. Each participant had at least a year of weight training experience. The study was double-blinded and administered 5 grams of creatine to the experimental group for 5 days before reducing it to 2 grams a day for the remainder of the trial. Measurements of the arm were taken before and after a 6-week training program where subjects trained twice a week. By the end of the study, it was found that 1 rep max increased in both the experimental and placebo groups. However, there was a noticeably greater increase in the experimental group. The double blinding of the study helped to eliminate researcher bias as they were unaware of which participants were receiving this placebo. This allows for a bias-free interpretation of results. The weaknesses of the sample included the sample size being a small demographic, which made this study harder to generalize. When looking at the standard deviation of results, it raised concerns due to them being in the range of 15 to 20 kilograms, though this could be due to the prior amount of weight training experience the individual has.
Creatine was found to be very beneficial in older men. All participants were given a familiarization period with the exercises being tested before administration of the placebo pill or the creatine pill. The researchers conducted a variety of in-depth tests on their participants before any administration of pills. These tests included a blood analysis, anaerobic power, muscle biopsy, as well as maximal dynamic strength tests and isometric strength tests. In the results, they did not include a follow-up biopsy, which raises some concerns, as every other test was done pre and post experiment. The lack of the follow-up muscle biopsy could be due to the cost and invasiveness of the test. There were also some large Z-scores in some of the upper body strength test results. Overall, most of the test results had small Z-scores. Due to only those two concerns, it is reasonable to believe the results of this study. Improvements were seen in all strength testing in the creatine group that were significant to that of the placebo group, therefore showing that creatine does improve strength in older men.
A study we found that does not support Allmax's claim was done in 2006 on experienced resistant trained women age 18 to 35. This was a double-blind, randomized control trial that had a control group and a placebo group. It was done as a 10-week intervention that included creatine supplementation and a resistant training program. It concluded that there was no increase in muscle strength, and it was proposed that this could be due to the women's cells not absorbing the oral creatine supplement, or that men and women could have different responses to creatine supplementation, but more research needs to be done to prove this. The nature of the study being a randomized control study is a strength because it helps to eliminate potential biases. The control group and placebo group were equally matched by the number of participants, their ages, and their bench press and leg press 1RM strength scores divided by their lean body mass. This allows for the reduction of confounding variability. There was a specific criteria to be a subject, which is a weakness because then it reduces the generalizability of the results to the general population. Another weakness was that an indirect method was used to measure the muscle's response to the creatine supplementation. If a direct method is used, it allows for the confirmation of the initial and addition of creatine within the muscle after supplementation. This would provide more precise data to explain why the increase in creatine monohydrate did not have an effect on these subjects. These results were concluded to be true due to the strengths outweighing the weaknesses. More research needs to be done, though, to provide more evidence and understanding as to why creatine supplementation did not have an effect on these women.
Due to the reliability of all the articles we found, we have decided that for men, creatine is a beneficial supplement in improving muscle strength. However, for women, more research needs to be done to support Allmax's claim saying that creatine is a beneficial supplement for all in improving muscle strength. Our formation of this opinion is based on the minimal biases and concerns found in our chosen articles. Thank you for listening.